Have you ever said something and felt it linger in your chest long afterward? Not something someone said to you, but something you said to someone else. Why did I say that, you wonder? And every time the memory surfaces, there's that quiet sting. Maybe you snapped at a younger colleague when emotions got the better of you at work. Maybe you came home exhausted and gave your family a cold, distant answer. Maybe a friend came to you with a problem and you responded with logic and advice, only to watch their face slowly fall. You said sorry, but it didn't quite feel complete. There was still something in their eyes, a shadow that hadn't quite lifted. Words are strange things. They have no shape, no weight, and yet once they leave your mouth, you cannot take them back. Today I'd like to share a story, one that the Buddha told, about the quiet, lasting weight of the words we speak. One day, a young disciple came to the Buddha, visibly troubled. He had been struggling with conflict among his fellow practitioners. Again and again, when arguments arose, his words would fly out sharp and wounding before he could stop them. "Teacher," he said, "I cannot seem to control my speech. When anger rises in me, my mouth moves before my mind can catch up. And every single time, I regret it afterward. But by then it's too late. I can see the hurt on the other person's face. No matter how many times I apologize, I keep doing the same thing." He spoke with his head bowed low, unable to meet the Buddha's eyes. The Buddha gazed at him quietly for a long moment. Then, without a word, he reached for something nearby, a wooden board and a handful of iron nails. "Take these nails," the Buddha said gently, "and drive them into the board." He handed the young disciple the nails and a stone. The disciple did as he was told, hammering them in one by one. Tap, tap, tap. The dry sound rang out through the quiet forest. "Good," said the Buddha. "Now pull them all out." The disciple struggled, but slowly, carefully he worked each nail free. "There," he said. "They're all out, teacher." The Buddha took the board from him and held it up, slowly, deliberately, right before the young man's eyes. "Look closely," he said. The disciple caught his breath. The nails were gone, yes, but the board was riddled with holes. Dark, deep, silent holes, lined up like old scars. "The nails have been removed," the Buddha said quietly, "but the holes remain." He paused, letting those words settle. Words are like these nails. A word spoken in anger drives itself deep into another person's heart. You can apologize afterward, and that matters. Pulling out the nail matters. But the hole it left, that does not simply disappear. The disciple stood very still, staring at the board. He could not speak. And then slowly, tears began to fall. "How many holes," he whispered, "have I driven into the hearts of others?" The Buddha placed a hand gently on his shoulder. "The fact that you are asking that question means everything. What matters now is this. From this moment forward, pause before you speak. Choose each word with care." This story has been passed down through Buddhist tradition for generations, and the reason it endures is because it speaks to something we all recognize. At the heart of it is a teaching about what Buddhism calls right speech, the understanding that the words we use every day are themselves a form of action. In Buddhist thought, human behavior is understood through three dimensions: what we do with our body, what we hold in our mind, and what we express through our words. Together, these are known as the three forms of action: body, speech, and mind. And among these three, the Buddha placed particular emphasis on speech, because words, invisible as they are, carry enormous power. A physical wound heals with time, but a wound carved by words can resurface years, even decades later, in a quiet moment when you least expect it. The Buddha once said, "Words have the power to give life and the power to take it away." This is not an exaggeration. A single warm word, offered at the right moment, can pull someone back from the edge of despair. and a single cold word, carelessly aimed, can extinguish a fragile flame of hope. What the story of the nail on the board is really teaching us is this: saying sorry is not enough to make things whole again. Pulling out the nail matters. It always matters more than leaving it in, but the hole remains. And so the Buddha's deeper invitation is this: pause before you drive the nail. This is the essence of what Buddhism calls right speech. It doesn't mean speaking perfectly or never making mistakes. It means not lying, not speaking cruelly, not using language as a weapon, and not filling silence with words that serve no one. In practice, it's simpler than it sounds. It's a single breath of a pause before you speak, just long enough to ask yourself, what kind of mark will these words leave? Now, I imagine some of you are thinking, I know all this. I know words matter, but in the moment, I just can't stop myself. You're not alone in that. The young disciple in the story said exactly the same thing. I understand, and yet I cannot stop. That tension lives in most of us. We know in theory that words can wound. We believe in kindness. And still, when anger rises, when exhaustion sets in, when anxiety presses down, the wrong words come out, sharp and fast, before we've had a chance to think. So what can we actually do? Here are 3 simple practices you can bring into your everyday life. The first is this: when you feel anger rising, take 3 slow breaths before you speak. Just 3. That's all. Inhale through the nose, slowly. Exhale through the mouth, slowly, 3 times. It sounds almost too simple, but those few seconds can be the difference between a nail and a hand extended in care. Research on the psychology of emotion suggests that the peak of anger typically passes within 6 to 10 seconds. 3 conscious breaths buy you exactly that time. You're not suppressing your feelings. You're waiting for the storm to pass before you open your mouth. The second practice is this: for just one moment, imagine receiving your own words. Before you speak, ask, if someone said this to me, how would I feel? Would I feel seen? Would I feel small? Would I feel dismissed? This is connected to a Buddhist concept sometimes called exchanging self and other, the practice of genuinely stepping into another person's experience, even briefly. For example, a colleague makes a mistake at work, and you feel the urge to say, how could you not get this right? But pause, and imagine being on the receiving end of those words. They probably already know they made a mistake. They're already carrying the weight of it. Does piling on help? Or would "it's okay, let's figure out what to try next time" be the words they actually need? The third practice may surprise you. Subtract words rather than adding them. When we want to be understood, our instinct is to say more, to explain further, to make our points stronger, to cover every angle. But often, it's the extra words that do the most damage. I'm only saying this for your own good. Does that phrase actually help? Or does it put the other person on the defensive before you've even begun? I've been thinking this for a while. The moment you add that, the other person stops hearing your message and starts wondering how long you've been quietly building a case against them. Try stripping your words down to the quiet core of what you mean. A sentence with nothing extra has a way of landing more gently and more honestly than one dressed up in justifications. The Buddha himself was known for this kind of restraint. When silence was the most truthful answer, he gave silence. And silence, too, is a form of speech. There is a kind of courage in choosing not to say something. It is the courage of someone who understands the weight of words deeply enough to set some of them down. And one more thing, something just as important as all of this. The same words that wound also have the power to heal. Thank you. You really helped me. I'm glad you're here. These words don't drive nails. They quietly fill in the holes that others have left behind. The holes may never completely disappear, but with enough warmth, enough care, enough small and genuine words offered over time, the pain around them softens. Today's reflection has been about the weight of words. Before we part, I want to leave you with just one thought. If you are carrying regret right now, if there's a word you once said that you wish you could take back, please hear this. The fact that it still bothers you is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you have a heart. To feel regret is to be capable of imagining another person's pain. And if you can imagine their pain, then you are already capable of choosing differently. The nails of the past are already in the wood. You can pull them out, and that matters. But you cannot erase the holes entirely. What you can do is decide, right now, not to drive any new ones. And you can begin word by word to offer the kind of warmth that helps old wounds slowly close. May the first words you speak to someone tomorrow be gentle ones. Thank you so much for being here until the very end. May your days be filled with words that bring peace to others and to yourself. If today's story stayed with you, I'd be truly grateful if you subscribed to the channel and left a like. Your support is what makes the next story possible. Wabi Sabi Moment. See you again soon.